energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, just the 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Way up, pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I.
Let's freaking go. We get to hear the Barry Bonds line every time I add a little bit. Had to add the Garga shooting the shit out of us, of course. Like, just felt right. Just felt right. The timeline, all of the energy, his awesome, unfiltered post, which I think we've talked about a number of times, is dope. But before we get into that any further, this is Board TV every single Wednesday. We've been going for just about 2 years. I think at the end of this month, it'll have been, or maybe the beginning of next month, it'll have been 2 years, which is completely absurd. Started as us idiots running into each other twice in line at double or back-to-back Ape Fest, and then the rest is history. And so we love coming here every single Wednesday, talking about Yuga Labs, Web3 as a whole, crypto, and all the craziness that's happening, because it is actually crazy in the space right now, outside of Yuga Labs and a little bit inside of Yuga Labs. So with that, Mr. Bryce, how has your week been, sir?
Week is good. Same old as last week. Still farming a blast, trying to get through all the FUD posts, and hope 2 weeks is killer.
Just hoping for 2
Worthless
weeks.
now.
Worthless now? Damn, fuck.
Yeah, the timeline deems it worthless. So
okay.
Your efforts are going down the toilet.
Timeline definitely knows all. So definitely make sure financial advice. Make sure you listen to all the Karens and Fudders, every single post they make. Make sure you definitely say and do what they want, because of course they know everything. I saw a great response from shout out to the Colony co-founder Pratik. He said, "Little dogs bark the most," and I was like, "That's fucking fire," because it's true. A lot of those little MFers that really have they're not really active. They're not really in the trenches. They're not actually trying a lot of these things out. Whether that be blast, blur, collection, art, whatever it is, a lot of them, their bag is so small and they're the ones that are the loudest. And I would just say, hey, make sure you clear and clean your fucking timeline. Figure out what you actually want to see and forget the rest. If that means you got to mute some people, block, I don't do it. Like, use the features that are there for you on X, because like in reality, I'm being dead serious. That shit is toxic to you. So figure out what you want to know, the news and the people that you want to follow, and curate that shit. Like their stuff, retweet their stuff. Of course, come to Board Media Group. Check out Bright, A Raving Ape, and Fabaka. Hit us up. Make sure you're liking or retweeting our shit, because I think if you're listening to my dumbass talk right now, you at least like some of what we had to say. So Mr. Raving Ape, obviously you're going to 0. GG's. How's your week been, sir?
Week's been pretty good. Can't complain. Been able to kind of, I was going to say catch up on some sleep, but that's not factual. I don't know. Yeah, just chilling. Got a 2-week countdown clock until we get Blast TGE. So at this point, it's kind of all I'm still focusing on. That's fair. I did go in and throw a few Kodamaras on some deeds. We can kind of talk about that land sale later today or later in the stream. But I don't know. Definitely have some thoughts and opinions, some questions. It's an interesting time in the swamp overall.
It is, but I'll be honest. I saw your post and I have some thoughts on the other side of the spectrum, because I was in a lot of these conversations. I was just a fucking viewer, right? Like I wasn't saying shit. I was just in the group DM, being thankful that I could see the information. And I think, not that it's perfectly clear, but I think they actually did clear a lot of it up, and it does make sense to me. And we'll get into that in a second. But before that, the first thing, of course, that we wanted to share, I mean, it was in the freaking title. You might came here tonight and said, dude, Garga's going to kill our ass. You might be saying, what the hell are you talking about? Well, he straight up said, just want to kill everybody in Project Dragon, which is coming in July. I mean, if you look at the calendar, it's kind of wild to think that we're nearly halfway through June, which is completely absurd. And again, if you take a look at these images, these look pretty fucking dope. I'm gonna be honest. The other thing that I think is really cool is it says Chaos Energy right here, and it says Coda Energy. I think that's pretty fucking dope too, because now you're seeing some of that tie-in, which we're definitely obviously looking for, I should say. And this was by Bad Rhino, I think. Yeah, Weapon Concepts by Bad Rhino. That's so funny. This Bailey giving a little love to this weaponry. Love the emission highlight. I definitely do like that highlight. It looks dope. It looks fun. And with that, I am very excited. What I'll say is, no matter what, and we are going to get into the faraway stuff because I think there's a lot to unpack there. But like when it comes to like, if I'm just focused on Yuga specific, I really am looking forward to Project Dragon, just because I think they're pushing the limits on what they can potentially do. Do I think it's going to be seamless? No, I do not. I don't think it's going to be perfect. But what I do expect is that they're going to be able to have us, a lot of us, obviously, a large scale game. Fuck around, find out. Some of the weapon shit's going to be probably really cool and work really well. Some of it will probably break, will suck, etc. But I think the experience, I think the like Meetropolis as a whole is going to fucking be awesome. Like it's visually, it's going to be stunning. Running around in that is going to be dope. Obviously, they've been working on that for a really long time, and they had it done back in the freaking fall when they had that Meebits running around Meetropolis the first time. I guarantee they freshened it up even more. So I guess I'll just say I'm excited for that. I am excited for him to show us the weapons. Those look dope. Those look, original, if you will. They don't look like just a fucking AK-47 in your hand, which would have been fine too. But I like the fact that they're trying to tie in some of that other side lore, if you will, Bryce, to the weapons. What are your thoughts on just the I know it's only 2, but just some thoughts on the sketches there.
No, I liked it because you can kind of tell on the design of the weapon too. It's like the obelisk pieces as they're like kind of folded.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty neat. But yeah, excited to see kind of how you integrate chaos energy and Coda energy. Is it just by holding the asset, or do you have to, do something and activate it in some capacity or what? So either way, though, looks pretty sick.
No, for sure. I definitely do like that tie, and that's a good call out too with the obelisk, the kind of like the energy seeping through the lineage.
Lines,
that's definitely cool. And so again, I think you'll see, what does the Coda juice, all this stuff that could potentially, tie in, potentially down the line, is pretty exciting for sure. And so again, tip of the cap, Mr. Garga. Thank you for sharing a little bit of that art, because those are the little things that actually do, like, honestly, like, that's fun to see. It's not like anything mind bending and blowing, but what it is it's a little sneak peek in some of the stuff that we'll see. And so I'll throw it to Will. Thoughts on some of that tie-in with, we've talked about lore and wanting to see more of the tie-in with other side, and seeing just, I don't know, it's just a snippet, but kind of like what Bryce said here with the obelisk tie-in, as well as just the chaos and the Coda energy. What's your quick, 10-second takeaway from the little bit of alpha that he shared?
I mean, if you're a Chaos Deed owner, you're probably getting a little excited by that one.
Right.
I know I would be.
Right.
But it'll be cute. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it plays out over time. If there's actually some kind of meaningful, I guess, value that can be provided in these senses, in this sense, or if it's literally just like a cosmetic type thing. So.
Right. For sure. Again, a lot to unpack, and this was kind of just step 1. And I do want to share one more screen as we talk a bit about, Meetropolis and what's to come. This concept art. Hopefully I'm sharing. There we go. This concept art that they shared was really cool. Again, like, to me, this, and we've been Meebits fans for a really long time. This is just fun. Like, seeing these as deeds, seeing all of this, little detail, etc. is really cool.
I thought this one was really cool.
Yeah, I agree. So the museum, a lot of that just looks really cool. And so, also, this was funny, this interaction. I wanted to just point out really quick, Udi from the Taproot Wizards. These are really cool. Can't wait. By the way, we should do an interview in VR chat. And Garga says down, but we also can do it in other side. So that's kind of fun. Again, these are the little things, you can easily miss. I'm a psycho that like has notifications on for Garga, and so I just like every time I see him post anything, I'll take a look at it, and just for fun, because it's fun to see those dialogues. It's fun to see him thinking about ways to get into other side more. And so again, excited about that. And as we turn and talk a bunch about Faraway, because I think there is a lot to unpack here tonight. As of maybe 20-30 minutes ago, we had another legendary King Kodamara that has hatched via Journey Club. Take a look at this bad boy.
Oh yeah, the Burbamora.
Check that joker out.
That one's insane.
Yeah, so he cracked a couple today, which is always fun too. When you see some of these people that are holding these, obviously bigger assets, it's fun to see them jump in and crack them open and potentially go get them involved in the Legends of the Mara 3.5. We like to see that. So again, tip of the cap, Mr. Journey Club. What's up, Will?
Did you see that other one, the orangish grayish one?
Are you talking about from Journey?
Was it from Journey or was it?
He had another.
Yeah, I thought it was Journey.
Right here.
Oh, yeah, it was Journey.
Where people were, Burbamora.
Dude, that one, in my opinion, that one's hot.
Apparently, there we go. Sorry, my computer was frozen in time. Yeah, I agree, and definitely, yeah. Is this a Moonbird and a Mara combined? Did they have sex? I'm not sure.
Dude, seeing that, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, that is a Yuga creation.
Yep.
Going
There's
somewhere
much potential there, right? I mean, like,
yep.
Dude,
Keep going.
So like lore building and whatnot. Like, I don't know. Like, I guess we still gotta let it have some time to air out, but it just seems like, I'm not sure why Yuga would even consider parting with that after they already poured so much into it. But I guess I don't know. Maybe they'll still incorporate it in some kind of like main storylines and whatnot. But I mean, that is a sick piece. I mean, all the way down from like I don't know. It's so strange because like the end of it is like more curved, right?
Yeah.
You got like almost like water droplet endpoints, but then like the closer to the body, it's more like, I don't know, it's more thorny and pokey and what, I don't know. This is, it's kind of hard to wrap your head around what the heck this thing actually is. It's also got some like gill-like fang wing type things back there. And it's like, dude, this is a unit. This is a legendary freaking Kodamara right here.
It's very easy to see that, right? Which I would say that the art is really cool. These legendary ones are dope, and I definitely agree this one is fire. A bunch of really cool ones have been cracked over the last week, and even 5 days, even 48 hours. And so again, congrats to those people that have these legendary King Kodamara. They're super freaking dope. Atomic designs. Is it different for every the symbols in the corner? Let's see. Are you talking about these little jokers? Let's see.
Looks pretty sick.
Yes, actually.
Oh,
interesting.
Cool.
I almost wonder if that just relates to whether or not it was a farmer, a hunter king, or an enchanter king.
I think that's a good call. We could probably dissect that. I'm not going to jump around on tabs right now, but nonetheless, the art looks dope, and I figured that was a good place to start with this conversation of Faraway. And again, I'll pull up a couple tweets. Hey, Will, if you want to, do you want to share 3.5 if you've got it handy? I'll keep talking about some of the stuff from Faraway. It would be a little bit more time to get on that. But so for those of us,
I don't.
That's okay. We can wait for a little bit. Just pull it up later. We'll jump into this other stuff. Plenty to talk about. And so, oh yeah, there's also Bodhi Life with the King Ghost. Shit, I'm just gonna share my screen and get to where I want to go because they've got some other cool retweets. So this is Faraway's X account. This one's freaking cool too. The Ghost, Enchanter King, Enchanter Mara. Really cool. Oh, and then of course Unsung. Jesus, this one fucking crystallized MFer. Like that's really cool. Got the journey. Okay, so let's dive into it. This is the big post today, and again, we'll try to unpack some of this, and I'll have some to add. And of course, we always share our opinions here. I think that's why we believe that Board TV is just a great stream, because we don't always just go with the flow. Sometimes we have some freaking thoughts that aren't wag me all the time for sure. And we are not afraid to share that in a actual meaningful way that actually potentially can move dialogue and have thought process, not just scream at the fucking timeline. So here we go. Let's I'm fucking flooring it all. Damn it. We're the manager. Far away. So Voyagers, it's time to talk about lands. Introducing Paradise, I assume. The new off-chain land of Legends of the Mara, and Rift, the off-chain land of heavy metal. That's right. Heavies are joining the fight against the Shattered. Basic lands will be purchasable. And the LOTM season 3.5, which is live right now. If you haven't started, you should jump in. Leaderboard will reward the top players with both Platinum, Premium, Paradise, and Rift lands. So we look at this image. And Bryce, what is the first quick thought you have?
That's another deed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a good looking other deed you got there.
That's another deed.
I haven't seen that other deed, but it looks cool.
Yeah.
No, is that the concept art? Wow.
Yeah.
It really has evolved.
Yeah, concept art. And then they go into here, LOTM season 3.5 leaderboard tiered prizes will now include. So this is obviously for those that are competing. First place is where to go? There we go. 5 Platinum Paradise and 5 Platinum Rift lands. Second place is 4 and 4. Third place 3 and 3. Fourth place 2 and 2, and then 5th through 500 to get 1 and 1. So that's nice. If you have been active, these seem to be things that are very attainable. If you've been playing, LOTM, I think getting in the top 500 is doable. I'm not saying it's the easiest thing you've ever done, but if you're somewhat active, I think that's something that you can accomplish if you want to. At the end of the season, lands will also be awarded to players with legendary and epic point modifiers, 1 from chest. So get those drops while they last. Players will receive 1 land per leg, legendary epic point modifier. Paradise versus Rift and their tier will be randomized. Land tiers. Not all lands are created equal. Lands have environment tiers of 1 to 5. Okay, sounds like upgrades, which determines the number of creatures and shadow that can be assigned to the land. In addition to environment tiers, land can be platinum. Think of these as special editions with special perks like faster farm rates. Interesting. Back to heavies. Using Riftland and LOTM lets you equip heavies as your main fighters. With Kodamara joining via partner slots. Also interesting. So those that have been holding heavies, I will say, we want to point out the negatives, the things we see that we don't like. I do like they're trying to find a way to get heavies involved with LOTM ASAP, and so that you don't have to go buy a bunch of other assets. I appreciate that. The type of land you play on also affects the prizes you win from the game. That makes sense. And which leaderboard you place on. For example, prizes for battles on Riftland will include heavy metal specific content like gear, energy, consumables, in addition to cross-land prizes like ascension, materials, points, and point multipliers specific to heavy metal. That makes sense. Note about sediment. This is interesting. After 3.5, rewards from gameplay will no longer include sediment. Instead, we'll include new rewards, which will be affected by land type and environment tier. Keep in mind that these will be different leaderboards corresponding to various types of land that you can play on, and that prize will differ. One of the main goals, I like this right here, first comment. One of the main goals of lands is to lower the barrier of entry into LOTM. Lands will be $2 to $20 or free if earned through gameplay. Other deeds, of course, can still be used in the game. Additional important note, heavy metals will also all get tier 1 land for the start of season 4. We also like that. So right away, heavy metals can at least be in season 4. Even if they have 1 heavy metal, they can get involved in some capacity, which we do like. So at first glance, and I think I was, what time was this morning? Shit, yeah, it was. I didn't even see this until I guess my son had swim lessons today. And that MFer is learning to swim, boys. He's jumping off diving board. That guy's crazy. Proud father moment. But the first thing I thought was, what in the absolute shit is this? My first not reading into anything, not being into messages, my quick, I'm a reactionary MFer. I can definitely be that. My first take was like, what the frick? Like, why? What? That was my first thought. Will, I'm going to throw it to you first because I know you had a post I saw. Go ahead, take it away. What were your first, second, and maybe third thoughts on this announcement from Faraway?
Yeah, I mean, I get the point of why we're introducing low-cost lands, et cetera, et cetera. Obviously, you're not going to onboard a gajillion people if they have to pay, 20, 30x the amount they usually would pay to pick up a video game and play it for a couple months with their bros at home. I don't know. So I guess the thing that really just kind of starts to get a little questionable is like, okay, you have a bunch of people who are used to this idea that they hold Yuga assets, and there's a hierarchy there where things are more important or less important based on, you know, kind of like just the structure, the rarity, the status that is built up inside that ecosystem. And so I think the thing that is kind of unfolding now is like, okay, we're still playing this same game. We've transferred ownership from Yuga over to Faraway, but now we're getting like this restructuring of like things that are important. And so it's like, I mean, obviously, like Faraway is not going to be like, yo, other deeds are our North Star. We want to just drive so much value to other deeds. End of story. Like, that's it. Right? I like at this point in time, it would not surprise me if that is not their main goal. And it's already clear with some of like the Kodamaras stuff that we've seen that like Kodamara are pretty damn powerful. In some cases, more powerful than Kodas. And, you know, they have slight differences and whatnot and what they can do and can't do. Kodas still have the ability to do 3 abilities, I believe, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
should. I don't know if the Kodamars have the same thing, but I know they have 2. So what I'm getting at though is like the whole structure, the way everyone's positioned currently has to be changed or has to be modified to accommodate the new system that is going to have rewards in different ways. The knee-jerk reaction is, oh my God, why are we selling more land? We have too much of it as it is. And the reality is it's still expensive. Like if you like really zoom out and you're like, holy shit, like I was selling off a couple of them and I'm like, bro, I'm like banging $600 a pop off these things just from selling them at the floor. Like that's a little ludicrous, especially because they don't really feel like they do anything right now. And they have some use in LOTM with Faraway, but like that's not like a tier 1 utility for deeds at this point. So they're kind of lacking that now since Faraway took LOTM. And so the question is really just like, what is the point of other deeds? I understand we're still building in a 3D universe, etc. Hopefully we will be building on these lands and all that kind of stuff. But like, I don't know. As soon as you took, like, to me, LOTM was so very much the underlying rails for delivering value to deed holders, even though we were like saying, yeah, it's like this glorified staking mechanism, etc. Mm-hmm. But it was like, yo, like you're pulling sediments from, you're pulling sediment fragments off of your deeds. You're pulling different loots based off of, you know, defeating monsters on your deeds. Those monsters had different hit points to them based on the environments of your deeds. Like it was all very much focused on like aspects directly tied to the deed. Mm-hmm. So at that point, it was like, cool. Like I could see where this would make sense to in the future. Maybe like, so the thing that I always go back to is like in games like RuneScape or World of Warcraft or whatever, you're like running around and you spend a lot of time skilling or collecting those in-game resources that, you know, are kind of tedious. You might go over in a corner and just like AFK mine some ore for like hours while you're watching TV. And then you go and you sell it on the marketplace, etc., in the in-game marketplace and all that kind of stuff. But it's like, in reality, like LOTM kind of felt like it was taking that place of like, hey, instead of like going in and like grinding this thing, we're just going to give it to you in like this more passive manner where it still takes strategy and whatnot. So like people can still have a competitive advantage or whatever. Mm-hmm. But like we were still going to deliver assets that were, you know, important to the ecosystem through LOTM. And so whenever that started to like kind of crumble, the real question is like, what what does having an acid deed do for me now, other than it gives me a different environment to build on? On top of that, it's like, okay, well, it's sitting on top of maybe a chemical goo sediment. Like, is Yuga gonna try and create some new method to still like extract value for having that level of thing in the ecosystem? So you can be like, oh yeah, not only is it just at that point, chemical goo would be like a cosmetic, right? You'd be like, oh, you're in the second band of deeds, so you're like a little bit closer to the clubhouse than like everybody else, but like for the most part, like it's generally useless. I don't know. It like, how are they gonna what are sediment fragments at this point? Like in LOTM, it made sense. You could go in, you could harvest them and whatever. Like, does Faraway pick up that tab and like ultimately make it so that those rails that we could once see as like being the clear driver for like all of the resources and stuff for deed holders be extracted in that game mode? Or is it going to be more of like, you know, are they going to try and do a different game almost or something else? Like, I don't know. Like, yeah. What is the purpose of other deeds at this point?
I think hasn't changed, to be honest. It's just that this post from Justin is how I feel, actually. Honestly, where the value goes back to Yuga, which is true. Like, why did we get the deeds in the first place? And I know we were all like way fucking out in front of our skis, but why did we get it in the first place? So that we could go maybe build experiences, maybe some of us maybe rent lands, you know, to businesses or companies or whatever it might be, to explore them, potentially to be part of this, you know, large scale game. Maybe, you know, if if your land is picked, you get some sort of, I don't know, financial gain because they're using one of your deeds as their game. I think that's all still like there. That hasn't changed. But the thing that has to happen, in my opinion, like ASAP, is this like gameplay manual. That's what I'm going to call it, or lore book, or whatever the hell you want to call it. I like gameplay manual because I think it's more like, what are these artifacts used for? What can they be used for? You know, like these are the XYZ things 1 through 10 that you can actually use artifacts for. And this is what you're going to need these sediment. And this is why it's important to have chemical goo or whatever it is. And I think that has to, like, my biggest complaint, my actual like only complaint right now, personally, from you guys, that has to be delivered. That information has to be delivered like yesterday, like last week, like last month. And so, because otherwise, I agree. Right now, as we sit here today on June 12th, basically your only functionality with the deed was on LOTM. That has now been sliced and diced. Doesn't mean that the original vision has changed, but we need an update. And obviously, like, going into Project Dragon, that's going to be great. We'll get to experience some of the things they're building. That still doesn't allow us to go onto our land that we've held for a while. Now, was all of this, were we going at fucking light speed when we should have probably been going at like maybe just a human walk? Yeah, that was the whole space, right? That was Yuga too. That wasn't just us as humans. That was everybody pumping the shit up. But we gotta get some information. I mean, specific to what are the actual use cases here. We know we can build, but like, I'm assuming we can monetize, but what are the things that we can do and what's not going to be allowed? And I think that needs to be like so in depth that then we can come through for another month and break down sections of it on board TV, because it's that detailed where we can talk about, oh shit, dude, like we need to start coming up and crafting a menu of these things you can create. And that chaos blaster we used on fucking Meetropolis, well, you're going to have to buy chaos, whatever, from a chaos deed, you're going to have to buy this to be able to, function or to create that. And here's the plans to make it. There's like so much information missing right now. And that is my number one biggest bugaboo. I'm happy with what the club's vision is. That makes it's clear as day to me. Like, I see it. It's clear. They have these pillars. Doesn't mean the price is going to go up, down, or side. That doesn't matter. I'm taking price out of the equation. I understand that. Other side has massive potential, but it also has massive amounts of potential to just be a nothing burger. And so if you don't start getting people talking about it in a way that's like looking forward to building and getting people like Bailey and Rita, and all these people that actually can do these things into the other side and building experiences that then we can go in and try out, even if it sucks and it breaks. Maybe Bailey created a freaking mini golf course, right? And we were able to go in and test it out. Oh, this is dope, and give some feedback. Yo, we gotta, like, I know that's happening. Yo, that's gotta happen. Like the information, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm not even expecting an experience every day, but the information, and that bitch better be like that thick.
Well, I mean, Garga teased about the ODK, right? Didn't they?
Yeah.
I mean, what they said that's kind of top priority right now is
I think they're actually, it feels like they're actually rolling that out now to, like, you know, some of these builders that obviously have Unreal Engine experience. But the info dump, we like so badly let us comb through a 200-page document, please. Like, no, I'm serious. Like, okay,
I don't know if I got time for that, but ChatGPT does.
Oh yeah, ChatGPT can TLDR that shit for you in 30 seconds, my friend. But my point is, that's my biggest complaint. Everything else, I feel really good about overall sentiment in the club. I feel good about, you know, some of the NBA stuff. Some of the, you know, we'll talk a little bit about Thank Ape. That stuff's happening right now. I love what that looks like and how they're supporting some MBAs. Not all of them, but again, there's going to be 30 people receiving like a nice significant amount of funding to do things. That's all dope. And I do love where the club's headed. I love that they're doing, you know, board meetings. Project Dragon, I'm excited as shit. I think it's going to be fun. Yo.
Man, I hope Project Dragon is killer.
Yeah, me too. And there's no guarantee, right? Like, maybe it fucking sucks. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be fun. I don't think it's going to be perfect. I think it'll be fun.
You think it'll be like a little time slots like previous other side trips, or will, because I was kind of talking with a Raving Ape about this earlier. I was like, at some point, I want to be able to just go in whenever I want.
Yeah.
And part of this stuff, not have it be like, all right, you have 2 hours to hop in there.
For sure. I think maybe as we go further down the road with Project Dragon, it might be more like that. Like, maybe it's 24 hours, maybe it's 48 hours. I think these first couple, they're just trying to, because I'm sure some shit's going to go haywire, of course. And that again, that's expected. But man, for me, like, a dub for the, you know, other side in general, to see the capabilities, a dub would simply be, man, having like even 500 to 1,000 people. Obviously, they want to try to get 3,000 people in here, but let's just say 500 people, right? 500 people show up, get to run around and shoot the shit out of each other, and the, you know, the land looks dope, which we know that's going to be the case. It'll look fucking cool, and the game feels fun, and, you know, it's interactive. They've got a little bit of a storyline, which I know they do too. Like, that makes sense. That would be a fat ass dub. Like, if those things happen, big ass dub. Because then again, you can see where real builders could come in and build experiences like this and have, you know, tournaments, or, I mean, whatever the hell you want to do. But again, we got to have more information. Yuga Labs, like, specific to other side. I feel like the whole community has been really freaking patient when it comes to, like, information on why do we want an artifact? Why do we, you know, how do we craft these things? What is craftable and what is not? How do we craft it? We got to have something, because right now it does feel like other deeds are kind of just an NFT that's collecting dust for the most part.
Like all other NFTs right now, it feels.
Dude, I'm like sitting here looking at my bag, and I'm just wondering, right? I don't know. I was almost I might have been the bottom signal for Kodas, but I think they're back down to where I sold at anyways. But part of me is just like, man, are they going to just collect dust for the next 12 months? Because, like, I don't know if you, like, noticed, but, like, there's kind of like this, like, bull market thing kind of spinning up around us. And it's like,
people do not care about the JPEG.
For the entire NFT ecosystem, not just Yuga Labs, but I mean, like, the entire landscape. The only things that I can, like, identify as, like, mildly bullish are, like, token drops from, like, Pudgy Penguins and Azukis. And, like, that is, like, kind of concerning overall. I don't feel like there's any NFT project that's, like, doing something that's just like, whoa. I feel like last cycle, it was just, everything was brand spanking new. And so it felt like Energized times 1,000, where it was like, yo, that's sick. Fractionalizing? Holy crap. Never heard of that before. Like, yeah, I want to get me on a fractionalized piece of next copy artwork. Heck yeah, give me some of that. And so, like, everybody was literally just, you know, ramped up about all these different things, which were new for the first time. And so I do wonder, like, where is NFTs in general going to start, trying to gather a little bit of mind share during this potential bull market? Because it's like, at this point, it's not very clear. I don't really know. What are we expecting? Are we still thinking that like gaming is going to cook? Because like
it could, yeah. I think some will. Like, I think some will.
Of it, right? Like,
yeah.
But then it's like, okay, but is Pixelmon's platform going to cook? Is there's something with some pirates thing going on recently?
Pirate Nation, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't even looked at it. Don't even know anything about it. All I did see though was like clones are getting 2D PFPs.
Yeah.
Which looked like kind of sick, but like, why are you doing that? Like, I don't know. So it kind of just feels like there's nothing like really like new and exciting brewing in NFT land.
I'm excited about the clubhouse. So I can't just say like there's nothing exciting. Like, no, is that gonna like give me a bag of anything? No.
But I mean, like, okay, so but that doesn't really like, okay, yes, clubhouse.
Who else has made a clubhouse in real life as an NFT?
No, yes, I agree. But like, we've already proofed that concept of like use NFT for access to physical IRL event when we do all the Ape Fests. So it's like, in some sense, I don't see it playing out much differently than how Ape Fests kind of play out, where it's like, yeah, I mean, like, it is a fantastic time to get together, to utilize your club membership and be like, yes, I own an ape. It got me into this event. And I get to network with all of the like-minded individuals who are inside the club, and then, learn about everybody that's building dope stuff. But I think the thing that like really would have like set it apart would be like, okay, if we were talking about previously, you had brought up like franchising stuff, which doesn't sound like it's anywhere remotely in the picture, which I guess is understandable, but it just feels like there's nothing really pressing the envelope of like, yo, this could make NFTs go crazy. Everybody else is going to try and copy this meta kind of vibe, because there was like that thing where like CyberKongs started rolling out stuff, and then like they kind of were leading the way for a handful of different activations that were later copied by some other projects. And then it was like Yuga would do some stuff, and then it'd be like, oh, like everybody else would just like start trying to copy the playbook. I feel like there's no playbook right now. Like, what is the NFT playbook? We're still like we're just picking up some of the scraps of last year's playbooks, which was like drop token. And it's like, okay, so I don't know. And this goes for like stuff like Azuki too, where I'm pretty excited about the anime chain and whatever. Like, I think they could do something there, but like, if you ask me to draw you like a crystal clear 4K HD picture of it, I'm like, yo, I got no clue.
But I mean, like, what I'll say, and this is to all NFT projects, even the ones I don't care for. I mean, these bitches are 3 years old. Like, what company had a crystal clear vision of what fucking Apple was going to be 3 years into their, creation? I think it's like, it's weird because like, it is weird. And I hear you completely, because it is kind of like, if we all shut our eyes like this much, how you can sort of see, but everything's blurry. That's kind of how it all feels a bit. Just, I'm talking general statement here, NFT space as a whole. But like, they are all businesses, and they're trying to figure out, like, to me, the hardest thing, I wouldn't want to do it, is like, bro, you got to figure out a way to make some actual money. If this is a business, you got to find a way to make money like consistently, not a one-off thing, not just from your whole, like, there's got to be like real revenue at some point. And so like, that's actually my bigger concern for the NFT space as a whole than, like, to me, and it's just me, Phil, personally, Bored Ape specific, I'm just going to speak on them because that's the one I know the most. I can't speak to Pudgy. I've never been a part of the community. To me, social membership club, it makes sense what they're doing. Am I expecting a token drop again? No. Am I expecting, again, like what they said, cool collabs, the in real life clubhouse, this Ape Fest, physical, get-togethers, right? I think to me, they've made it very apparent that it's more about the and it, I mean, literally from, if you look at the fucking day one social membership token, that's the focus. Now, where do I see potential value in it? It's definitely like our fucking relationship that we've built right here, the three of us, and creating a business. And I'm not saying we're millionaires at the end of the day, but like there is funding from not just ThinkApe, but potentially the DAO, potentially maybe Yuga too, right? Like, yeah, they did grants a long time ago. For those of us that were here at the beginning, Jenkins of LA, why and how did he get started? Well, it was a grant directly from Yuga Labs. So could they maybe is there an incentivization where like you have an MBA, you can apply for small, medium, large term grants? I'm talking, this is a longer horizon type thing. Could I see that? For sure. Because like for me, they're driving home, relationships matter. The social membership of being part of the club matters. Now, how do you make it something that matters? I think having powerful ways to connect with people that are much different and people that you would never grasp or touch ever outside of the club is definitely powerful. And then again, a lot of these events, like you said it perfectly. They've nailed the in real life thing. They got that down. They do a really good job with that. Merch,
they crush it.
Also merch. I know who's doing the merch. So,
I guess my big concern here, right, is like, I'm sure the clubhouse is going to cost a lot of money, and all of these IRL Ape Fests cost a lot of money. And it's like, where is Yuga making money, right? Like they would get trading fees when apes were, slinging back and forth and highly priced and whatnot. Or if, they were selling us deeds or, some other thing. But it's like, where is Yuga making money now that can still support these like social events?
I think a lot of that is sponsorships too. Like specific to Ape Fest. I agree though. Like 100% this shit's expensive. So like at some point, that's what like, I guess I'm cheering for any NFT that I think is like legit and here for the right reasons. I'm cheering for them all to find a real revenue source, whatever that might be. Right. And so, Garga kind of mentioned some physical products. Are they going to do, maybe they're going to do a fucking nationwide push of, maybe it's not toys, but what if it's, I don't know, like the Coda juice, maybe it's a fucking energy drink that's, I don't know, but like, could it be something like that? I don't know.
This kind of brings us back though to this like original idea that we kind of flung around early on a while back, was just like, there needs to be a reason why somebody not in crypto wants to fall in love with Bored Apes, the brand, the idea, the lore, the story. This is where it like felt like incredibly clear, where it was like, how do you bring the next wave of people into Other Side? You need to literally launch a freaking movie that just has people so captured by the story, by the characters, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's, I feel like, I shared that, or maybe Bryce shared that video recently from like the Pudgy Penguins, like little, background video. The one thing that I thought that like stood out the most was like, okay, they've been crushing it on like Instagram, where they put like their little Pudgy and Peaches little characters, and they do like little animations and they do whatever. And then there was like this one point where they changed them from like a blue and a pink penguin to like a green and a yellow or something like that. And then there was like a whole, like all
they switched one of the penguins' colors, and people were like, "What the heck happened to the other penguin?
The pink penguin, bring Pinky back." What like there was like a genuine like attachment to the IP that was people outside of crypto, and I feel like that is like super like missing for a lot of these brands, right? I think if you could literally just recreate that, like what Pudgy created with their Instagram audience, if you could create that for, Blue and Curtis, because Curtis, I mean, he's a character, right? You've seen like the little clips when walking around the Other Side trips and whatnot, where we had like the first two like more experiential kind of trips. Like he's a character. He's got a personality. People liked Curtis, the character, right? And it's just like, how do you make everybody actually fall in love with the character, the stories, the whatever? And it just feels like that's the biggest piece of the puzzle that is like really missing. It's like, yes, at the end of the day, do we have dope social events nailed? Absolutely. And that is like, probably, I've told Bryce this, it's one of my favorite aspects of the club is like kind of having this this membership pass that gives you a reason to go travel and explore a new part of the world that you haven't been to yet. Like that whole kind of concept, really appealing to me. I like that. I don't have to really think too much about it. I have to just get there and then like, you know, kind of let the rest unfold. There's some very structured pieces that you can go and like, okay, I'm going to go actually hit up these events, which kind of pushes you to go see things like whether you meant to or not, like you're going to be walking by XYZ. I don't know, whatever you're exploring, getting to these different places. So like that aspect I think is great, is awesome, is whatever. But at the end of the day, like that's not really moving the needle for like the outward facing perspective of like people who like don't know much about anything about apes, crypto, whatever. I don't feel like we haven't moved the needle in the mainstream, apart from like the one time Paris Hilton showed her ape on like Jimmy Fallon or something. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, come on now. Come on. We had freaking Steph Curry rocking it on Twitter. We had
but that was true. We had like
having it in his music video. Like
we had an insane wave.
You know what hold on. I have
picking up apes.
I got a quick thought on that. It's so funny to me that people just fucking slam Yuga for, oh, you use MoonPay to give it to all these fucking celebrities. Dude, what do you think? What do you think freaking Pudgy Penguins is doing with their social media?
Bro,
my friends.
Okay, but they're doing it like a freaking.
I understand.
They took it up a level.
But my point is, they're still doing some of these same tactics where you go and like send it to. I mean, you do that because that's like fucking smart. You go send shit to people that are prevalent. Like I'm not hating them for it. My point is, the space is so jaded on shit. It's like. I just want.
I don't know. It's a perspective thing. They're not sending them multi. I
mean, you think Justin Bieber? We sent a fucking we think he paid 500 ETH and sent it to Justin Bieber.
No.
I think his dumbass.
But I mean, like, okay, but Pudgy Penguin sent him a freaking pudgy, and he's rocking it on his belt, right, or whatever it was. So like, that's kind of funny. It's one of those things though. It's like, it's all about perspective. Like if you buy $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 ape and send it to a celebrity, apparently it just rubs off differently instead of if you just like bomb them with a bunch of like Pudgy Penguin physicals. I don't know. I don't know how those deals like unfold, how that really works out, but like you do. I mean, it's one of those things. I was scrolling freaking TikTok and what do you know? You see a freaking Pudgy Penguin on a shelf and you're like, well, yeah, there you go. You wonder why they're capturing like, mainstream attention and people that are on TikTok going like, bring back Pinky. It's because they're actually, they are breaking into that audience.
Perfect. I got a couple things here. Number one, talking about lore and storytelling, a little birdie very recently told me that they've got a few people on the Yuga Labs team that is now dedicated to that. So there's a little nugget for you. That nugget was delivered to me very recently. Secondly, we've talked a million times about that, kind of like that Pudgy video and how we're like, why don't the freaking Yuga do that? Well, there we go.
Joining Yuga and being a part of the new team. So there's a bit of feeling uncomfortable, feeling like a fish out of water. I'm calling. Currently working on moonbirds, bringing them from tiny little pixels to even bigger pixels. I imagine it's pretty similar to like what the Brady Bunch felt. Dad's family, mom's family, like, oh God, like we've got new stepsisters, stepbrothers. How's this all going to work together? I don't know. Maybe we'll start a family band. But for right now, we're trying to figure out how to make moonbirds work. Cool design guy. Oh,
I'm like original Tom Cruise in Top Gun. You're kind of like you're kind of like Glenn Powell. I'll be honest.
Not bad. I ran into him in the restroom. He warmed the toilet seat up for me.
Yeah,
it was nice. It's actually true. I did. That's Justin.
Well, that's how a cool guy thinks.
Yeah.
That's how a cool guy thinks.
What does a cool guy think of CC0?
Well, Cool Guy likes it for his own artwork because I think it's compelling and I think it's a really good place for people to start building some cool things. Because you can have something that you're excited about, you can have something that you believe in, but if you don't go about it the right way and make sure that you've valued the people that actually have had that decision made to them, then I think that it's a miss. Giving a brand new future and a brand new path here, I think it's the right call.
You know, the biggest fears for me coming into Yuga and being like, we've got something that's amazing right here. Don't just like let it be a fart in the wind.
I share that, not because I'm a Moonbirds holder or even a big Moonbirds fan, but yo, the fucking blueprint is right there. The blueprint is right there. That video is freaking compelling. Even if you freaking hate Moonbirds, that was good. And so, Yuga, once again, we know you guys listen in sometimes. Can you please do that for Other Side? Can you please do that?
Dragon. I hope they're
Oh my god, please, please do something like that.
A lot of time and energy on Project Dragon, so it'd be cool to see a behind the scenes one day.
It's just like that was really well done, and you have the team, right? Like I think some of that team came from Moonbirds. Use them to do some of this other, like, dude, you telling me that video, if you did something similar, a little 3-minute banger of Project Dragon, you know, behind the scenes right after, or maybe the day before you start playing it, that wouldn't be banger. Like, come on, like people would be. I know it's not main. I'm not talking mainstream. I'm just talking about holders. You would feel really good about it because you feel like you got to peek behind the curtain. That's the little Wizard of Oz. Let's pull back the curtain. Yuga, you got the blueprint right there. Please do things like that occasionally. I'm not looking for it every week. Occasionally for big things like Project Dragon, for in real life Clubhouse. When you want to reveal the Clubhouse, bro. Please have something like this of like the little conversations you had to get to the venue, right? Like all the little boom, boom, back and forth and boom, boom, boom. And then the day you want to, you know, release that information, boom, you got a fucking 5-minute banger on your hands. Like, please do that. Cause that,
and if you haven't started, go ahead and just start now. Like we'll take
do it now.
Through
just do it. Get that camera crew rolling because honestly, I thought it was really cool what they did there for the Moonbirds. For those that don't know, and we're going to wrap here in a second, Moonbirds have their new art. I actually think it looks pretty clean for the most part. I went through some of the different traits and some of them look cool. And it seemed like the timeline liked them for the most part. So I don't have a Moonbird. I don't know if I ever have a Moonbird, but at the end of the day, it seems like people were relatively satisfied for what it is. When you're doing a new art design, it's kind of almost an impossible attempt, but I think they did as good a job as they could do. So Bryce, going to throw it to you as we are at the top of the hour. What are your last thoughts, trinkets, if you will? Also shout out Bored Ape Yacht Club. I saw you joined on Instagram and watched us, whoever was behind the account. Thanks for coming through. Appreciate you. Bryce, thoughts on things you're excited about? I mean, obviously you're blasting away, but what is on your mind here for the next week until we talk again?
Yeah, I'm excited to get to blast TGE in 2 weeks and then hopefully take a little bit of time off and mess around with my 3D model, potentially play around with Project Dragon whenever that launches.
Yeah.
And yeah, just kind of dig into some of the things I've been missing while farming Blast. I know I want to get into meme coins and kind of understand those a little better if that's going to be a pretty big narrative this cycle. And then, yeah, just figure out kind of what the next narratives are and look into them.
That's right. Next narrative, stay on top of it as always and blast away. Mr. Will, what is your last closing thought? You've had a bunch of good ones. I had a great conversation as a whole. I feel like we made a lot of really good points. So what's your last bow on the conversation this evening?
Yeah, you know, I think it's interesting that Bryce thinks there's going to be a new narrative and a new thing to go chase because it's going to be Blast Season 2.0. So it's going to be from one season right into the next, especially if it just rains freaking dollar bills on those Blast Golds. But we'll see how it goes. I do agree, though. There is definitely some 3D model messing around that still needs to be done. I think Bryce and I definitely want to try and cook up something. We finally got your ape out of blend. So we have your model now, right? So
Yes.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll
I had to take it out of Blend for the Ape Fest tickets, and then regret to inform everybody, I put it right back into Blend.
yeah. So we're just yeah. At this point, liquidity is still freaking tight. Might be selling some deeds. We'll see. I've already sold some, but we'll sell some. Might be selling some more. I don't know. I mean, like, bros, if the freaking if the Ethereum's is gonna go to the moons, the deeds are gonna go to the dooms. You know what I'm saying? So
I feel like, dude, if coins start ripping, if ETH really starts moving up, if we get like bullish ETF inflows, and like next thing you know, ETH's like 4K, 4,500, 5K, nobody's gonna want to touch these NFTs.
Dude, I think apes would go 11 ETH, 10 ETH, 9.5. just straight. This is not just apes. This is everybody. I think everybody is going to be like massively rebasing because people are going to be freaking out, dude. If we just randomly turned on a dime and sent for the heavens, people are going to be freaking out. People are going to they're going to be like, yo, I got how much ETH in this thing, and that's worth how much right now? Yeah. So,
unfortunately, yes.
And then
we need more holders, actual holders. That's what we need. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm going to be real. If you're on the timeline and you see a certain account come by that's asking you, why aren't you a holder already? It's probably best to ignore that account because I'm not entirely sure like that's your best move. Like, yo, like there's going to be a time when NFTs pop off. So like freaking stack your coins. Again, get ready for battle once the time comes. But I don't think rushing into it right now is like, going to be your last chance. I think you're going to have many more chances to hop on the train because it's just different this cycle. Last cycle, we teleported. We literally said, hey, you're either riding with us or you're not, and you're either going to miss us when we went from like 1 to like 8, and then like 8 to 13, and then you had like one chance, and it was very clear, 13 to 8, oh, see ya, 60. Like, that was wild. If we're going to get some nonsense like that, there's going to be a lot of indicators. We're going to have a lot of fuel on the fire, etc. Do I think apes are going to just get up and run away from you right now? No, I don't. And if you feel a little FOMO on the laptop, come back in 2 weeks, and either you're poor and broke without an ape, or you're can buy 6 more. I don't know. It's one of those two.
My point is, you could also build something with that, whatever that is, and so that's what I'm focused on. I'm going to be here building within the ape community because I do think there's power there. So again, there's multiple ways to skin a cat. I will not be chasing most of what the timeline chases. It bores the fuck out of me because the long term is not there. Am I a boomer for that? 100%. Am I a dumbass for that? Probably, but I don't really care. So with that,
you're gonna have to get some Blast Gold season 2.
It's probably not gonna happen. It's probably not gonna happen.
Bro,
all right.
You need
to. I know you guys. You guys have. Do you have a fucking Blast Gold tattoo on your ass cheek yet?
I'm lining up for one.
That's
it's actually
right.
coming.
Go.
Depends.
Let's go.
Depends how 2 weeks.
It's a pretty basic shape. Have you seen the little logo there? I mean,
we have to do a lot.
I get a little prism tattoo on my ass.
I don't know. So here's the thing, though. Quick TLDR. Blast Gold. People are saying it's like $3. The reality of like $3 means it's worth less than like Blur, and it's not going to be less than Blur. I'm just making this up, by the way. I actually have not run the numbers, but it seems like if you're going to quote $3 Blast Gold based off of the things that we've been looking at for the total gold distributed, the math ain't math in there. So, it's going to be one of those points where I think that everybody who didn't freaking pick up a freaking shovel to try and mine some Blast Gold or a pickaxe or whatever, you're going to be sitting there questioning. You're going to be like, why the fuck did I not? Like, there was mad stupid ways to get Blast Gold. And I'll tell you right now, I mean, like, I can show you one of the most dumb ways
we're at
to
the
get
top of the hour, sir.
But holy smokes,
Phil said no.
It's going to happen. It's going to freaking happen. And everybody who's gonna be like freaking fading that shit is gonna be like, God dang it.
Dang.
They told me. And I'll be like, I tried to tell you.
Clip it. Clip it, chat.
Clip it, chat. Anywho, we appreciate y'all for coming through. We're here every single Wednesday. Have been for a long time. We'll continue to be. Shout out Rich Poor, Bored Ape Yacht Club for joining via Instagram. Yo, appreciate y'all very much. I got to get to another thing. I'm already an hour late to a thing I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Otherwise I'd run it. Yo, come back. We'll talk about it more. We talk about this shit every single week, not just Yuga Labs. We always talk a bit about Blast, of course. Yeah. Clip Blast Goldie for J Dunk. Again, appreciate y'all. If you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on X, follow us on Instagram, follow us on all the places. Man, it's been a great conversation as always. And just a friendly reminder, it's Phil, it's Will, it's Bryce, and as always, stay freaking bored. We out.
Peace.
That money clip us now, the new now looks like, whoa. Upgrade her diamonds, now her girlfriends are like, whoa. I hit record a drop, you can't ignore it. I'm transforming now these cars and planes, I'm always boarding. Just out touring down in Charlotte like I play for Hornets. When I'm performing, never boring, now you can't afford it. Champagne Perrier, vintage friends on my face, looking like I'm from the deep. These no Cartiers, pockets deep, bro.